See what happens.
It says we're live. Oh, nobody's going to be here.
I know.
You booted them all out.
I did boot them all out. I know. It's embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why that's never been a problem before.
I don't know.
But anyway, if no one shows up, we'll just cancel it and figure it out another time. There's a person here.
I guess I could try to join from my phone to see if anything is working.
$1 million question. Can we be heard now? We had to downgrade the video quality. We had to downgrade the audio quality. Things to learn and work on. I don't know why it won't let me use the webcam. There's a heart.
There's a heart.
Does that mean
there's 3 people? Can anyone hear us? Is the real question.
Does anybody know what they call themselves?
I can hear now. Yay!
I don't think it's going to be the best audio, though, and definitely not the best quality. But should we talk about what we're going to talk about?
I would say so.
I'd say so.
I think we've kept the people waiting for long enough, right? Let's get to it.
We did. And now that link, I'm not even going to share it. So there might be 4 people that show up. But you know what? That doesn't matter because we want to talk about a topic that we love, cruising. Who wants to talk about some cruising?
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to talk about some cruising? You seem psyched, Emmalee.
I'm really tired.
She's tired.
Weeknight with the tech issues.
I know.
Times.
Good times.
Like 3 quizzes tomorrow.
3 quizzes tomorrow. We'll make this kind of quick. But anyway, we're here to talk about Disney Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean International, which is what they go RCI now. Isn't that kind of weird?
Oh yeah.
Like that's actually their acronym.
Yeah, we've had a lot of questions throughout our European Adventure series about what our thoughts are on the 2 cruise lines. And so we thought it would be a good time now that we're wrapping up the cruise to start to compare. Emilee's yawning over there.
Sorry.
Jared says he's here and that's all that matters. I like it.
Right.
Jared always brings the fun.
He does bring the fun.
So that's
Cheers,
great.
Jared.
All right. So should we just get right to it?
Yeah. I mean, we sailed both ships. We're actually boarding the Wish a week from tomorrow as of this live. So
yeah,
super excited.
Super excited. I think really quick before we jump into our comparison, I think some disclaimers. Maybe we should talk about what we have done, what our experience has been like from Disney and Royal. And just to be clear, we are only going to be comparing based on our own personal experiences. So your experience might be different. We'd love to hear from you. But what have we done?
Yeah, so we've done only one Royal Caribbean cruise, which hopefully a lot of you have seen on our vlog series.
Technically, we've done 2 Royal Caribbean cruises because it was a back-to-back sailing. So 2 7-night cruises on Royal on the Anthem of the Seas.
Correct. So one ship felt like one cruise because it was 14 nights, but yeah, the technicality is that it was 2. And we've done 7 Disney cruises. We've never sailed the OG ships, which would be the classics is what they call them, the Magic and the Wonder. I know we have 2 people in the chat that are going to be sailing on the Magic this May for a 25th anniversary to Alaska. So congratulations to our friends Stacy and Jared in the chat. I'm jealous of them.
I'm jealous too.
Yeah.
Yes, but that'll be a lot of fun. So we have done the Dream, the Wish, and the Fantasy for Disney Cruise Line with those 7 cruises that Scott mentioned. All of them have been either Bahamas or Caribbean cruises. So we have been to Disney's private island, Castaway Cay. Whereas
many times because we've done a lot of double dips. I think we've been there like 11 or 12 times and only 7 cruises. So
yep. But for Royal, we have not done any of their Caribbean cruises. We have not been to their private island. I know someone had asked that in the chat leading up to this live. So all we can really speak to is our European cruise that we did with Royal.
And I think I said the Magic probably when I was talking about Alaska. Magic does not go to Alaska. Yes, it's the Wonder. So Liz is great. She wrote down different categories for us to talk about. And I think your first category you have listed here is a great one that most people think about first when they book a cruise.
Yeah. So the first thing that I feel like we have to address, because it's kind of the elephant in the room when you think about these cruise lines, is the price. So overall, how do these 2 cruises price compare and which one does it better, so to speak? I'm just going to come out and say it. Disney Cruise Line is considerably more expensive than Royal Caribbean. This afternoon, I thought I would give you as a quick price comparison because I wanted to give you real facts and figures and not just my own gut feeling about it. So for comparison, 2 7-night cruises that I looked at, one on Royal, one on Disney, both to the Mediterranean, both in July of 2025, both with veranda staterooms leaving out of Barcelona, and both for 3 people. How much do you think the Royal Caribbean cruise was? Emily, I'm going to have you guess first.
I think I already heard the cost.
Did you?
I don't know the going price of cruises to begin with. So, I don't.
No,
I genuinely don't know how cruising works.
That's true. Emily has no idea about prices. She just shows up.
My guess will be 3 people, Mediterranean, Royal. From what I know on Royal, I'm going to guess $5,600.
That's exactly how much it was. Did you look at my sticky note?
I did not. Maybe I've been looking up this cruise, Lizzie.
Maybe. Okay, and so for comparison,
Can I guess for Disney now?
Sure.
I'm gonna guess 8,000.
8,000. So Emily's guessing that. It's actually more.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna go like 9,200.
9,200 is closer. It was actually 10,000 for the Disney cruise. So we're talking a pretty significant price difference. There's about a $4,400 price difference between the 2 cruises for Royal and Disney. So overall, I would say Royal definitely has the advantage.
Do I win a Royal cruise for like the Price is Right, as Veronica's saying? Like I hit the number.
Come on down. Yes. You're the next contestant on.
I'm already dressed the part. I mean, I don't know if they'll like my Disney Cruise Line shirt on Royal, but
that's true. I think you did wear your Disney Cruise Line hat on Royal a few times, though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Royal definitely has the advantage when it comes to price for the value, and that's kind of what drew us in for this summer trip. We were initially looking at Disney cruises and found that Royal came in at a much better value, which allowed us to do that back-to-back cruise and our time at Disneyland Paris that you just saw.
And why do you think that? Do you think there's a reason why Royal's prices? I kind of have a theory on it.
Do you?
I think it's because they have so many ships in the fleet that they can afford to have lower affordable pricing. But the thing is, though, Disney cruises, like Jared just looked up the one we're about to go on, it's sold out. Yeah. I mean, it's not like Disney is having a problem filling the staterooms, though. So I can't explain it, but I think it's because of their fleet size.
I think the demand might be greater for Disney Cruise Line because of the lower fleet size and because it's such a good family cruise line and it's well-known brand with families. So that might be part of it. They can afford to charge more. But we'll get into some of the other characteristics of the 2 cruise lines to see if that value actually adds up. One thing I think you'll hear a lot is that there's more included on a Disney cruise than on a Royal cruise. What do you guys think about that?
I would agree with that. Do you want to chime in at all on what's included?
Yeah. So I feel like the biggest one is with Royal Caribbean, you have to pay for drinks. Mm-hmm. Like soda is not included. Whereas on a Disney ship, you can go up to the top deck and you have all the little beverages you want, like sodas. But here's the thing is when you buy the soda package on Royal, which we personally did, you can get a pop from any bar. Which, if you're on a Disney cruise, you have to pay for each pop at a bar. So, say he wants a drink at a bar, and I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe I'll have, a Coke or something. I would have to pay for that, which is stupid. So, instead, I end up going all the way to the top deck, get a cup this big, and then you do the juggle all the way back down.
You're holding one in your mouth and balancing.
By the time I'm down there, it's already gone.
Yes.
So, honestly, I don't know. I feel like I would maybe even purchase a soda package on a Disney ship because
if it was convenience. Yeah, that's kind of a good point. That might be a nice feature. So I will say yes. The sodas and drinks that are included on Disney are a little bit better than what's on Royal. But if you look at the cost of that soda package at $7 or $8 a day for the price of for the sailing, you're going to spend maybe a couple $100s on beverages. And if you're saving $4,400 in that example I just gave you, I don't know that free soda is necessarily a $4,400 value.
And not everyone's drinking soda either, too.
That's true.
But one thing with Disney Cruise Line, it is included with your meal in the main dining room, which is nice. So you don't have to go up to the pool deck with your meal in the main dining.
Stacy says that Disney used to do a soda cup with free refills. That would have been nice.
What?
I want that. Bring it back, Disney.
Bring it back, Disney. Yeah, because I'm sure they're watching.
Just bring our own big cups with us and fill them up.
But that's the biggest difference, right? Because everything else is included. You have dinner in the main dining room. Sure, there's some upcharge restaurants, which I'm sure we'll talk about with the food.
Yep.
But then you have entertainment on the cruise. So a lot of the things are, they offer things that are on board. The quality might be a little bit different, but the big one is the drinks for sure.
I would say overall, the amenities that are included on both cruise lines are very similar. So you're going to have very comparable amenities on both of the ships. So I think just do what's right for you when it comes to price. And it's always going to vary too. Sometimes that price gap's not going to be quite as big depending on the destination you're going to, on the ship you're sailing on, the time of year. So, you have to price it out.
For sure.
All right. So I think we agreed we're giving Royal the price as they have the advantage there.
I have to give Royal the price for sure. I mean, it's double the cost. Does that mean I like Royal better? We'll find out at the end, but Royal wins hands down on the price. If you were paying for a cruise, I think you would.
I'm not paying for a cruise.
Yeah.
Okay. Emmalee does not want to. She doesn't even like to think about the price of these vacations that we go on.
No, so I try not to think about it.
We'll move quickly past it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the ships themselves next. And that can include, we can talk about staterooms too when we get in there.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think about Disney Cruise Line ships that you've been on?
I think go ahead, Emmalee.
I was going to say, they definitely have that more like classic kind of feeling that you think of when you think of a ship. Like they have the grand atrium, whereas on the Royal ship, there's sort of like the promenade, like the one that we went on, but it just doesn't feel the same way. And I really like the like classy feel that comes with a Disney ship.
Yeah, I would agree with you that there's something kind of more iconic about the Disney Cruise Line look and feel of the ships with the color scheme that they have. They have kind of that throwback look.
How you enter the ship too, like just like the build up with I don't know why, like I just get goosebumps when they call your family's name, right? When they announce you on the ship, like you feel like you're a movie star or something. And again, we only had done the one Royal sailing. You came off like the side of the ship, like from think of like deck 4 on a Disney cruise. You just came off from the side outside. And then you walked into a bar and they're like, hello, what do you want to do?
Yeah,
it was weird.
You're like unceremoniously deposited like into a walkway. But, honestly, once you're past that initial entry, I will say I was really pleasantly surprised by the Anthem of the Seas. I thought it was a really beautiful ship. I think the public spaces and all the different venues were really nice. I felt like the quality was really similar to Disney Cruise Line in terms of cleanliness and like the decor and things like that. I didn't notice a really significant difference. What did you guys think?
I think the public places or spaces are much better on Disney Cruise Line because they just fit me better. Like when I think about, are we going to talk about lounges and stuff
Go
too?
Green in the chat.
Oh, go white.
Go white. I've got my Michigan State shirt on.
But I just think it's just that it's decorated better, I think, on the Disney ships to me. So like I feel like the public spaces are more comfortable. Maybe not as crowded a little bit too, I think, at times. I know you and I disagree on that a little bit.
Yeah, I really think it depends on where you're at on both ships. Because like when I think about our time on the Wish, some of those lounges that you'd go into for like a trivia, you would never be able to find a seat. Whereas on our Royal sailing, I felt like people were spread out better on the ship. Like I never really felt like things were crowded. Whereas on Disney Cruise Line, I think there are some key areas that are always really busy.
Yeah.
Pool deck.
So I was going to talk about pools in general. This is, again, with our Anthem of the Seas sailing. I thought the pools were so much better on the Royal Caribbeans. Disney just has like the small like Donald pool.
It's because they like put them in the ground and not on the Wish, I don't think. They changed the pools a little bit for the Wish, and they have even more smaller pools. Yes. But I will say the pools on the Wish are my favorite out of the Disney ships we've been on. But definitely like with the Royal, they have like an actual pool, and they had 2 of them, plus like the adult area pools.
Plus they had that indoor pool, which was
that's
really
what I was
nice.
saying, like 2 pools. They had like a big like the same size like regular 5 feet deep pool, both outside and inside.
Yep,
and 4
family
big.
Pools. Yeah,
for a cruise ship, I thought they were really big because I'm so used to Disney's, and they're a lot smaller. The space of the actual pools
and 4 hot tubs.
Yeah, there was a lot. I think a lot more pool availability.
And it felt, and maybe it's because it's like a cruise line for kids. I'm saying Disney Cruise Line is for kids as for adults too, but maybe that's why the pools are so jam-packed and smaller like that.
Maybe. And I think the destination might be a factor too, because we were in Europe and we were going to Norway. We sailed out of Southampton where it was a little bit cooler, a little more overcast. Whereas we've always done our Disney cruises in the Caribbean and in the Bahamas where it's hot and sunny. And that's generally when people want to be outside in the water. One thing that Disney Cruise Line had that the Anthem didn't, but I know some of Royal's ships do, is water slides. So there wasn't a water slide on Anthem. There is the Aquamouse and the Aqueduct.
You got the Mickey slide too, like the yellow Mickey slide. That's fun for kids.
Yeah, so Disney's got a lot of fun slides. I know some of the other Royal ships have those as well. One thing that was cool on Royal though that Disney doesn't have was like the Flow Rider, and they had the what is it? The skydiving simulator.
Yeah.
I don't know if the skydiving simulator is on all the ships.
Right. So it depends.
It was kind of like instead of a slide, I think.
Yeah. So that's where like you have to really look at the royal ships because their amenities are a lot different depending on which specific ship you're on. They have different offerings, which is kind of nice because you don't always have the exact same experience.
Yeah. So I think we kind of hit a lot on the ships there, but I really want to talk about this next category you have written down here, which is one of the most important, I think, deciding your cruise line, and that's staterooms.
Yes, the staterooms. Those are very important. So I was really nervous going on to the Anthem because we had only done Disney up till then, about how much room and storage there was going to be in the stateroom. If you remember, we were on this ship for 14 nights and we were in Europe for like 20 days with a lot of luggage. So I was like, oh, where are we going to put it all? So I was really happy to find that there was underbed storage in that room. And I thought that the Anthem had really good storage in the stateroom that we were in.
Yeah, I can't argue that. I mean, there's good storage, and we thought Disney Cruise Line was the only one that did the underbed storage,
right,
so that was like a huge surprise to us when we got there. But I think you might say what I'm going to say. Well, actually, you might not. What are we going to say, Em?
Okay. I was just kind of listening.
You're just listening? All right. But the rest of the stateroom, you can't compare to a Disney Cruise Line stateroom. First off, the beds. Disney Cruise Line. A Disney Cruise Line ship, I know you don't sleep in the main bed. You sleep like in the, I know.
Remind me.
You sleep in the other ones, like the couch beds.
I can say something to that, though.
Okay. But I think Disney Cruise Line might be the only ones that don't have like the combined twin beds. You know, it's actually like a queen mattress.
Right.
And their bedding is the most comfortable thing. It is actually the most comfortable sleep I ever have is on a Disney ship. And Royal's bed or beds, because they combine them together, which is kind of weird for me, even though I think that is a cruise line industry standard thing. Standard. It just was uncomfortable. I did not like the beds at all.
Yeah, they were pretty firm. The bedding was definitely not nearly as nice as Disney Cruise Lines. The towels and things like in the room, and even like the soap dispensers, like it was not nearly as nice as a Disney Cruise Line stateroom, I would say.
I can speak a little bit. So, because I don't sleep in the regular bed on a cruise. So in Royal, their couch bed, it folds out into, I think it's a bigger mattress. Like I think it's like, I think maybe like a full, maybe a little bit smaller. But like you can spread out more. Whereas on Disney, it is strictly a twin. Like it's small.
It's probably like a twin versus twin XL situation, I would guess, just looking at the beds. I don't quote me on it, but that would be my guess.
Feels pretty large.
Okay.
But I will say you can tell that, especially like on the Wish, is the quality of the Disney couch beds are some of the best couch beds I've slept on. Like they are quite nice, and like the way they turn them over every day. On Royal, they would leave the bed out, and it takes up all the space.
They only served the room once. That was an adjustment.
Yes, and even if they kept the Disney bed out the whole day, it wouldn't obstruct anything because it just takes up the couch. But this thing is folded out, take it up. You have to like, let me go to the balcony.
Yes.
They really did not have very much room.
You did not have room. You did not have room.
Also, I do think some of the quality of the Disney blankets, I don't think I get the same effect as the Disney bedding on the couch bed. Yeah. But it definitely has a lot better quality than the cold nights I spent on Royal Caribbean International.
And it's the serving of the room. Like one time, like we're spoiled by Disney Cruise Line where you get the 2 services a day.
Yeah, we were a little bit surprised just because we have only done Disney in recent years. And so when we came over to Royal and found out that they only do room service once a day, that was a little bit
disappointing.
A little sad.
Yeah, it was sad.
The stateroom attendance and service is one of the like best features, I think, of Disney Cruise Line. They like tidy up your room while you're gone for the day, and it's great. And they turn your bed down at night. But I will say our stateroom host was great on Anthem. Like he was super friendly. He was very accessible if we needed anything. I wanted extra hangers that first day when we checked in, and they sent them right down. So I think,
right.
Again, you're going to have to look at that price point. So I see a couple comments too from somebody else who sailed the Dream and the Anthem and said they liked the Dream better, but the price tag on Royal was a little easier to take. Definitely. Like, I mean, you're going to have some trade-offs when you're talking about almost a 50% price difference. So I think it was worth it overall.
And they also made a comment that they felt like there are some rowdy passengers on Anthem compared to Disney, and that 100% goes to the drinks package.
Yes, that's true.
I don't know if passengers is on there, but I feel like I can speak from personal experience. People get pretty rowdy on Disney cruises.
Are you judging? Are you talking about us?
You talking about me?
I mean, I've been on Disney cruises with some groups of adults before, and let's just say tequila tasting happened. I think there was some other mixology. People leave, they're different people.
Bayou, time in the bayou, maybe a little bit too.
Carpet Angels, I see in the chat.
Yes.
No comment.
But I will say though, and I think the itinerary makes a big impact on that for Royal. So we did, this European cruise where there were a lot. It was very family friendly. It felt like almost like a Disney ship.
It did.
How many
Lots of
families?
kids.
So I felt like there was less drink packages besides that guy Darren. Darren, I hope you're alive, buddy. But I think on those 3 or 4 night weekend cruises on Royal, I think people just go nuts because they do the drink package.
I would be a little scared of that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I think we were pretty lucky. Like we did not have any there was a couple people that we saw that were maybe getting after it a little bit too hard. But generally speaking, nothing out of the ordinary from what we have experienced on Disney Cruise Line from a family friendliness standpoint. I felt like I was just as comfortable on Anthem as I was on any of the Disney cruises I've done.
But with the stateroom too, another thing we didn't talk about, the beds, the setup of the room, I think is so much better on Disney. The split bath, I think is a game changer too that Disney has. That's where you have the shower and a toilet in one room, and then it splits off into another room that's just a toilet. So multiple people can kind of get ready at once. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would agree. It's a shower and a sink in one, and then a toilet in a
excuse me.
Sorry, I do feel like there's not 2 toilets.
That's
there are
right.
not 2 toilets. That would be a really big difference.
That would be a big game changer.
That would be. But both still have the power flush, though, right?
So there was a question in the chat, and I don't know if I know the answer, Scott, but did we tip the same on both cruise lines, or what is do you remember?
Yeah, it's our buddy Jason, go green, baby. It was, I would say it was equal. I would say it was about very similar. And it was like the pre-gratuity too, right? So like they have it was interesting though, like with Disney Cruise Line, you would, at the last night you get the pre-slips for your stateroom host, your head server, your serving team, things like that. On Royal, it was like for the entire ship. So you booked it and it was like, say like $145 per person for a 7-night cruise. And that went to everyone on the ship. So it went to your bartenders. It went, if you did like the specialty dining, it went to the specialty dining servers. It was kind of interesting. So it just went to the whole crew on the ship. Now you could obviously pay more, like we gave our stateroom host a little extra, things like that. But that was kind of interesting. Like it didn't go to the select individuals. It went to every crew member on the ship.
Interesting. All right. So when it comes to the staterooms, I think it's pretty clear from our conversation that we're giving this to Disney Cruise Line. They do it better. Yes.
100% do it better.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not, and again, Royal Stateroom though was perfectly fine.
The storage was so, like you talked about, it was so impressive.
Yeah, it had great storage. It was a comfortable and clean room. It had everything that you needed.
TVs were a little bigger too.
Yeah, I mean,
who's watching TV on a cruise?
Was really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very comparable size-wise, all of the things that it had. It just wasn't quite as nice as what you get on Disney Cruise Line. Like those staterooms, I think, just take it over the top.
Absolutely.
I'm so much looking forward to next week when we're going to be on the Wish, because like Scott said, it is the best sleep I think I ever have on a Disney Cruise Line. It just tucks you in.
I mean, if you're stressed at work or life and not getting good enough sleep, just stress yourself out some more and spend, money on a last minute cruise, but you'll sleep great on Disney Cruise Line. Just saying.
Just tuck you right in, rock you right to sleep.
That's why we like aft too on the ship. Oh, we didn't talk about where our stateroom was too. Like we were kind of mid almost on the Royal, maybe mid to aft kind of.
We had to walk away.
It was aft. It was
aft. Solidly.
It was in the aft.
It was in the aft.
Okay. And then the general ships themselves, I don't know that I can really say. Honestly, I felt like the Anthem was really similar to the Dream and the Fantasy layout.
It was built quite similar.
It was easy. Yeah, like the layout was very similar. I think the venues were nice. I don't know that I have a strong preference other than I think it comes down to aesthetics on do you really like the Disney theming? Does that matter a lot to you?
Right. One people really like about more of the classic and the Dream class ships are the track on deck 4, how you can run along. We've lost that on the Wish and the Treasure. But on the Anthem was really interesting. It was all the way at the top.
That was cool.
That was deck 15, and that was great, especially on a cruise that we did where you're going through the Norwegian fjords. You're just running or walking and then just surrounded by mountains and like snow-capped mountains. Like that was really cool. I really like how their jogging track was higher up. I mean, I love the deck 4 still on Disney Dreams and all that, but I really liked seeing a higher deck jogging track. That was cool.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't work in the Caribbean though, because then you're closer to the sun. So that might be hotter.
I really enjoyed the Anthem. I look every now and then to see what cruises are coming up on the Anthem, where it's going to be, and I would definitely sail it again. So I think I will give Disney the edge just ever so slightly, and the staterooms definitely kick it over the top, but I think they're pretty close.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good category right here.
Food. We can bring the drinks in with it too.
Yeah, people want to hear about food for sure.
Food and drinks.
If you're like me, you want to hear about the food.
I'm like cruises for the food. No. Yeah. Actually, none of us really like cruise food that much, do we?
Yeah, well, disclaimer.
We're going to talk about it.
Disclaimer, we're not the biggest cruise food fans, I will say. But so where do we want to start? We want to start with like the main dining rooms. That's kind of a good one because both have main dining.
Sure, yes. Both have main dining.
So I guess I'll start. When it comes to the main dining rooms, because with Disney Cruise Line, I can't go to a specialty dining. We're going to get to that. But so I know the main dining pretty well. And obviously Disney has the rotational dining, which is pretty unique to Disney, I think.
Oh, yes, it is.
Obviously, also all of the restaurants are super themed, and especially in the Wish, I don't know. They all have, there's at least one restaurant on each ship that tells a story. I think Fantasy and Dream have the least themed, I would say, with Enchanted Garden, Royal Table. Don't really have any shows other than Animator's Palette.
Right.
But still, they're very themed, and but they don't take away from the meal experience. And the food, it's food, you're gonna eat, and they have some pretty good options. It changes each day, but you have the same basic options, which is the same on Royal. But Royal just, I don't know. The food was not as good. They both aren't the best, but Royal was a little bit worse.
Yeah.
We're a little picky.
I think that Royal might have more variety on their menu. There's more options, I think.
I think every day they had a
in
curry of some sorts.
Well, that was because we sailed out of the UK too. So they have a little bit of a different menu on that ship because of the different guests that they have. But I think there was more variety. Disney Cruise Line, I think they have I think their quality might be a little bit better. I think there's maybe more options on Royal, and the quality might be a little bit higher on Disney. So I think their food is generally pretty good, but there's not always something that I want, if that makes sense. Sometimes I look at those menus and I'm like,
you're at the frozen
I don't really
restaurant.
want any of that.
You're at the frozen restaurant, what is this?
Yeah. I just don't like to, and this is just being ruined by Disney Cruise Line. I don't like going to the same restaurant every time,
Yeah.
And the nice thing is your servers were the same though. We had, and their dining, how you can do the My Time dining was kind of confusing too. But
so
yeah. But I liked that you still had the same serving team, but I just like seeing different views, right? You go to you bounce around different restaurants.
Right.
And I've seen videos of different Royal ships where the main dining looks a little bit cooler than I think the one we were on.
Yeah. So on the Anthem, there's 4 main dining rooms, but you generally go to the same one every time. So they're smaller, a little bit smaller, but I don't know. I think, I would give Disney Cruise Line the main dining experience, definitely. I think the service, though, at both was great. We had some really great servers on Royal. They were really amazing. Super fun. They always wanted to make sure we were happy. They would give us the buy one, get one free special on desserts. And if we wanted to try different things, they would make it happen.
For sure.
So I think that the service is great on both at the main dining. You can't go wrong. But I think that Disney's probably slightly better. I think when it comes to buffets, I think I might give Royal the edge there. I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like the placement of their buffet, at least on Anthem, where the food is all in one space and the seating is in another, was really nice. Whereas when I think about Disney Cruise Line, a lot of times you're going around the seating area to go to the buffet and it feels very crowded. I never felt as crowded in the buffet area at the Windjammer as I did at Cabanas. And I think that the variety was pretty good.
What do you have to say about that, Doug?
I 100% agree with that. There were times on Anthem, this is just Anthem of the Seas we're comparing to. So their Windjammer on sea days, they would announce that we're full. There's no tables to be had. Every seat is taken. And yet that still didn't feel as full as sometimes I was in Marceline Market on the Wish. I'm just saying. Like, I think it's just because of the layout. Like you hit.
Yeah.
Like,
also, it feels like less people are breathing on my food.
Yeah. And this is not.
We're picky, okay?
And, Liz's folks might be in the chat too, and they're about to go on the first Disney Cruise Line. So I'm not trying to scare them about the buffet. But like,
right. It's totally fine.
But it's just the way it just goes into that like half circle and like. It's like the same. It's the same, but it's like the same options where Royal, like the Windjammer, had all these like different pods and stations that were just all different and easier to maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
Where like you're just like in this long line and I mean it's the same at Cabanas too. Cabanas is like more comfortable. I think
prefer Cabanas over
Marceline.
Yeah,
we'll have to check it out again.
We're gonna go on it again though. Yeah, I'm
again.
excited to see it, but I think the food options were much better too.
At the Jammer, the options were.
But then like the hours too, like the Wish for lunch. Not that I want to have a buffet for lunch. I mean that's never like my top choice, but like. On the Wish, it's open for like an hour and a half. It's open for like 12 to 1:30 or something crazy like that.
Yeah, I feel like the Windjammer is open so much more than the buffets on Disney Cruise Line.
It opens early for like it opens super early for dinner too. So
so
one day we
for
went there for
meals.
like a snack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the accessibility and availability of food on Royal, I think, was a lot better than Disney. Just in general. There are times on Disney Cruise Line, like at night, like you've gone to the club and had like a few drinks, maybe watch some entertainment, it's late and you just want a snack. And I've been on Disney Cruise Line and there is nothing to get. You have to go back to your room and order room service, which if you're hanging out with friends is not always fun. Although sometimes it is. You end up maybe getting out a ship speaker and listening to some music,
like a Bluetooth speaker in a stateroom and just have a bunch of waters and patches on your arms. So.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just saying if I'm hungry, I don't want to be on a Disney cruise at a bad hour.
Yeah.
Right. There's times on Disney Cruise Line where it's like you cannot find a snack. Mm-hmm. Whereas on Royal, I feel like you can almost always get something to eat. There's
because the Sorrento's is open to like 2 a.m. or something crazy like that.
And there's like the one little cafe that's open 24 hours.
Right.
I mean, sometimes all they have is like a donut or a muffin or something, but you can always get something 24 hours a day.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, and Disney does have these smaller like counter service places like a Sorrento's or a Cafe 270. Like you have their pizza window, Luigi's, but again, there's like I'm thinking about the Wish. I think there's like 4 different pods. There's like the Mexican pod. There's the
chicken.
The barbecue place or whatever. But they close like at 9, and one of them every night is open till like 10 or 11. And then that place just gets so busy at night. It's just they need longer hours.
That's what I was gonna say. The hours for the like little like food, they're called the festival foods on the Wish. I don't know what they're called on like the Dream and Fantasy, but the hours are much better on the Dream and Fantasy. Like I think at least midnight people get pizza and chicken tenders. But I think the biggest like hours problem was totally on the Wish. We were there. I mean, it wasn't the longest cruise. Was it a 4-nighter?
4-night.
I never once tried the barbecue because it was always
closed. And all of the food on Disney Cruise Line is on the pool deck. Like all of the grab and go
when you
type
go
food.
When you go get your pop.
Yeah, and so sometimes I just don't want to go outside. Like there's times that you want to have a snack and you don't want to have to go out into the heat or humidity to get some food. And so I think that was what was nice on Royal as well, at least on the Anthem. The food was spread out. So like there was different places on the ship that you could get food and drinks. You didn't always have to go up to the top deck for something. So I really liked the accessibility and availability and options that they had on that ship.
100% agree with that. Yeah, sometimes you just don't want to go take an elevator and have to wait a long time or climb 8 flights of stairs just to get a slice of pizza. That's a lot of work. So
yeah. So I think the specialty options are kind of similar. I would say in that theme that Royal has more of them generally than Disney does. So there's more options available. There was 4 or 5 specialty restaurants on.
You're talking like the adult specialty.
Yeah,
dining?
the upcharge, upcharge dining that you pay extra.
Yeah,
for.
There's 4 on the one we did. And I think that's how most Royal cruises are. They always have like a chopped steakhouse. There's an Italian restaurant. Ours was Jamie's Italian, but I know there's other I can't think what Giovanni's on the other ones, and then Uzumi, and then we had Wonderland on ours, which is kind of like a talk about an interesting meal, but it was good.
Really surprisingly really good.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Whereas on the flip side, on Disney Cruise Line, there's 2 options, right? You have Paulo and Remy, or is it something different on
the
on
on the Wish. And I think on the Magic and Wonder, it's just Palo.
Okay, so you have like 1 or 2 options on the Disney ships. And the biggest difference for us as a family of 3 with a teenager is that all of the Disney Cruise Line specialty dining options are 18 and older, whereas on Royal Caribbean, you can bring your children to those meals. So it was really nice for us to get to have that nicer meal and bring Emmalee with us, because it's kind of weird as a family of 3 if it's just us on a ship for Scott and I to go to a meal and just ditch Emmalee for dinner. Like,
I mean, we've done it. We've done it.
don't get me wrong, we've done it, but it always feels a little bit weird. And she could totally go to Palo. She could totally go to Remy. She likes to eat a nice meal. She's not gonna start screaming in the middle of dinner.
Yeah.
Unless you let her get hangry.
Let me out.
Yeah. But just a couple comments before I talk about one last thing about the food. I mean, Stacy's talking about the some of those pubs though on Disney Cruise Line. You can order like I forget what it is on the Dream and Fantasy, like O'Gill's or whatever, like the pub areas. So you don't have to go to the top. It is like a little extra upcharge to get those things, but it's not. It's like $6 or $7 for like a burger or something, you know.
And that is very similar on Royal as well. Just for anyone who hasn't done both, that a lot of the bars you can also purchase snacks at some of them. Very similar to Disney Cruise Line.
But someone asked a question about smoking too.
Oh, yeah.
Have we addressed the smoking on Royal versus Disney? I did Royal Cruise back in 2007 and remember smoking smell coming from the casino.
Yeah. So one big thing with that, so the casino in general, we didn't talk about the fact that's a big difference between Disney and Royal, that Royal has a casino. Disney does not have any casinos. There was no smoking in the casino anymore on the Royal. I think that's fleet-wide. I'm not positive.
So. Chuck and Mary Ann could chime in and let us know if that's true.
I think post-COVID, they are not doing smoking in the casinos anymore on Royal ships. So we did not experience any smoking inside. It was very similar to Disney with just a small designated smoking area.
Yeah, their smoking area on the Anthem was weird though, because it was like more like in a public area, where I believe Disney's is like on the back of the ship, like in an adult area, kind of quiet.
They have a couple areas on Royal. Okay. They have one on the 5th deck.
Oh, with yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yep.
But they also have one that's like right by the hot tubs.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember as we were walking, like it's between the solarium and the hot tubs.
This.
And I remember we walked through and I was just like, hit with it.
You would get hit with it because it was like enclosed
but
too.
It
was gross.
I also think it's in a pretty similar spot on the Wish or something, because I distinctly remember walking into smoke on the Wish.
Okay. But yeah, I think it's similar where there's just like a couple designated spots that are on like an outdoor deck on both cruise lines. So I don't think that smoking should be a problem on either.
I can't imagine the smoking in the casino though on a ship. That would be like such a deterrent.
Oh, my mom just texted and said there was smoking on their last cruise in the casino. So it might be ship dependent.
Because it was not in the Anthem.
Well, and we were sailing out of the UK, so it could be different.
Well, the UK people smoke a lot more though.
They do seem to smoke a lot more. But I don't know.
I guess there's
Sorry, we're all over the place with your question there. From our experience on our sailing though, there was no smoking in the casino, but her Elizabeth's folks.
My mom cannot figure out how to chat online, but she is texting hot and off the presses. The last cruise my parents did on Royal, there was smoking in the casino.
That was just a few months ago. So
yeah, so it might just be one of those things you have to research about the ship that you're going to be on.
And that's a bummer to me, honestly.
I don't like that.
But I will say, going back to the casino though, because you don't have that on Disney, I feel like, and you might disagree with me, I think Disney's public areas are a little more spread out and feels less crowded. No, it was the opposite way. I think so many people were at the casino on the Royal ship that it made some of the public areas a little more or less crowded, because every time I went to as everyone ever talked about on the ship, like if you're just walking past, someone's having a coffee, like, well, how much did you lose last night at the casino? That's like all everyone talked about. And I'm like, really? Like, do people book these cruises just to go to a casino? Maybe.
But you went to the casino.
I mean, I won $500 at the casino, but still.
I mean, yeah, that was not a big thing about our cruise. So
Royal had both smoking and non-smoking casinos on Allure. So
I think you probably have to just research the ship you're going to be on. And
I appreciate the chat coming through like that. That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, everybody, thanks for helping out, because we can only speak to our own firsthand experience. I also saw another chat about back to the food, the churro Mickey waffles on Disney Cruise Line. You definitely aren't going to get that on Royal, and those things are good.
No, because Royal French toast at the Windjammer is some of the best French toast I've ever eaten in my entire life, and I think about it every day.
She thinks about it every day.
We were watching like some Wish videos to like prepare for our cruise, like get pumped for it, and I saw some French toast and like, that's not Windjammer.
And Will's gonna go on his first Disney cruise. Our buddy Mike is the one booking it for him. So shout out to Mike. But well, I think you're gonna love it. What ship are you going on? We love to know. Put a comment in there.
Yeah, I saw another question from Bob that said, "What's your favorite pre-Disney Wish cruise ship? The Magic, Fantasy, Wonder, or Dream?" I'm guessing it's the same for all of us. Do we all think the Dream?
Dream is my favorite.
It's the one we've been on.
We've done it the most. It was our first, and I think that it's just always going to have a special place in our hearts.
Yep. I just know that ship the best. I really love the Fantasy too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but we only done that sailing one time. I hope to be sailing a classic ship soon, so we can know what the magic is like. But Dream is just like if I could pick any cruise right now, I'm sailing the Dream right now.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, they're going on the Magic for 4 nights. That's awesome. We still need to do the Magic. Yeah. So tell us how it is.
Absolutely.
Because we definitely want to check that out.
But to wrap up food though.
Yes.
Can I say one thing before we wrap up food?
Yep.
I just want to say, with being able to do the specialty restaurants on Royal, like for me, I was able, like at James Italian, I was able to have the best food on a cruise I've ever had. So I don't know if the quality of that, how that compares to the quality of specialty on Disney, but like for me, it was definitely a step up above normal cruise food, and I really do appreciate having the option, because it's not like I can't go to a nice restaurant.
Right.
I feel like I understand that they want to have a nice experience for the adults Apollo, but like maybe you could lower it like 16. I don't know.
Do a background check or something. Right?
Yeah.
That's interesting, because that's basically what I was going to say, how I was going to wrap it up. And I think Liz might agree with me. Palo on any of the Disney cruises is my favorite meal, period. That is my favorite meal that I have is Palo. And I look forward to that meal so much every year.
I like Palo a lot. I think you like it better than I do, because I don't know that I would agree to put it.
Like Narcoossee's or California Grill, Walt Disney World, like I'd rather be at Palo.
Well, I think part of that's because you're on a ship and you're at sea and you got those views. I don't know. I think Palo is really good. I think it might be slightly better than the specialties that were on the Royal ship we were on. But I think that the extra options that you get on Royal, honestly, if I was going to wrap up the food category, I think I would put Royal at a slight advantage over Disney when it comes to food. I think quality-wise, Disney might have a slight edge on their main dining. But I think just based on the number of options that you have, the availability throughout the day, the availability throughout the ship, the fact that Emmalee could come to specialty, for me, I think, and I can only speak to the Anthem, I think I would give Royal a very slight edge to Disney on that.
Yeah, right. I think the only thing Disney's really winning at is like main dining.
And then I was just going to, someone made a bold statement here, and I'm kind of curious about, I'd rather go on Celebrity or Virgin for the prices versus Disney or RCL charge. I'm very curious about like a Virgin one. Yeah,
I am too. I think we might have to check out
another cruise line
at some point and just see what the options are out there.
For sure, because I think it's good to get that variety and compare, right? And that's why it was great about going on Royal, because we were so isolated to Disney. So it was nice to experience something else, and I'm excited to experience Celebrity or Virgin down the road.
Someone just said how like Virgin has really good food, which we just saw like a cruise vlog about it.
Yeah, we were watching something.
That's the same person that made that comment. Yeah, we watched a vlog on Virgin. That food looks really good.
It did look really good. So
could you go on it or not? Is it
18? 18. So maybe next year we'll check that out when Emilee's 18. But yeah, I think, and that's the thing, like we can compare, but at the end of the day, they're all different and they're both good, right? And they're going to have a good time either way. So I wouldn't spend too much time comparing back and forth. We tried really hard not to while we were there and experiencing it, because we just wanted to enjoy what we were having, right? Like you just enjoy where you are and what you're doing.
Right.
And you don't have to always compare it to something else. We're just doing that now as part of our recap.
For sure.
And because we had so many questions. But both are great.
We didn't talk about drinks.
We didn't talk about drinks. I don't know that we need to. We talked about soda included, not included.
I do want to say one thing about drinks, though, because Royal Caribbean has the drinks package, and I did not partake in the drinks package. One thing about that, so if you're an adult buying a drinks package, every adult in the room has to get the drinks package. And it's like, and the drinks package varies. So I know you're going to talk about excursions. This is almost like the same way you book this. It's like an excursion. Yeah, there's like sales that happen. You got to go on to the app and check every day, because the drink package price might drop. It's like the stock market a little bit.
Yeah, we would check even for our soda package. Yeah. We would look like almost every day. And we did. We canceled it and rebooked it for a lower price.
Because there was one day it was like National Soda Day or something, and they knocked off like 10%. Like, oh, it only saves like $1 a day, but $1 a day times 3 times 14, was a savings for sure. But so we did not do the the drinks package because, I mean, you're on a cruise because you have to buy it for the whole stay, all 7 days. And we were doing excursions. We were getting off the ship a lot. So like, I'd want to try like local beers, to Norway or Belgium, wherever we were, and not necessarily staying on the ship all day, drinking drinks there. Plus you weren't going to get enough value out of it.
There's no way I could drink enough drinks in it. I mean, I probably could, but like, it would be really hard for me.
Especially going day after day after day for 14
7
days.
Yeah. Like there's no way that I could do it to like make it worth the price point. I do think when you said that you have to get the drinks package for every adult in your stateroom, I think that is the official policy, but I do believe that you can call and ask them to only get a single person. Like if you have somebody sailing with you who doesn't drink, like they will accommodate that. They're not going to force you to buy an alcohol drink package if you don't drink.
They just don't want you trying to abuse it, right? Like if Liz doesn't get it, then I go and order 2 drinks and I hand her one. Like that's abusing the system for sure.
Right. They're just trying to make sure that you're not doing
But
that.
I just want to talk about the quality of the drinks really quick. You would not get an old fashioned that looked like this with a single cube on Anthem of the Seas. There's only one place I could find where you could get that. It's just, I think the quality of the drinks are watered down in quotes because of the drinks package.
Probably.
I think they're just not making high quality drinks and charging, I think it was like $14-15 a drink or something. So if you're going to have like 7 to 8 drinks a day, it would equal out to, I think your drinks package is what the math was on that. But they just weren't high quality drinks where you're going to spend the same amount on Disney Cruise Line and get a much better quality drink. So I'm just saying the bars and the lounges and the drinks, I mean, 4 times better than Disney Cruise Line. Because you just got generic drinks everywhere on Royal, basically.
Yeah. I think I will say on the Royal ship we were on, well, I definitely agree with you. I think that they're making mass producing these drinks for people who are drinking a lot because they've bought a package. There were places that you could get a higher quality drink. Yeah,
so like the schooner, you had to you really had to seek it out though.
Right. Yeah, you had to go to the right place and order the right thing. But they did have there were some good drinks on the ship, and there were some places specifically like Vintages had like nice gin menu and they had their wine list.
But if you went to like the pool deck or whatever, which is kind of similar to Disney, right? You're gonna get those like Bahama Mama drinks on the pool deck and things like that.
Spritz.
Oh, you have to be discerning about what you're gonna order.
Yeah. So. But I mean, and they had really cool. I'm not knocking the lounges. Like the 270 lounge was awesome. Schooner Bar was great. The Biotic Bar, like. Nah, that's not for me. Like
they can watch the videos and see all the bars.
That's true.
So
yeah, we have all the
we don't. All of them.
Yeah, we're gonna go on forever tonight if we do that.
Right. So.
But the quality of the drinks, Disney.
So Disney is taking the edge on the
drinks. For me.
So there you go. Hot off the presses. Okay. So yeah, our next thing was thinking about activities and excursions on the 2 cruise lines. So we like to do a ton of cruise activities, shipboard activities. If you've been watching the videos from our trip, you'll see we have kind of a regular routine of things we like to do. We like to go to all the trivias. We like to see the shows. I don't know, what else do we do? We pop in for a lot of things. We just watch karaoke on Disney Cruise Line. Like we are constantly looking at that app to see what kind of activities are happening. Yeah. And we like to be busy. So we do a lot of activities. What did you think about the comparison?
So I'm a really big fan of like doing the trivia and stuff. And so I was definitely pleased with Royal Caribbean's trivia options. I think they definitely had a lot. But I will say, me personally, I have a lot of Disney knowledge. And so, but that's the thing also. I feel like the trivia is more competitive on Disney Cruise Line. Because I feel like with these, like, because most of the topics, well, not all of it, you do have like just like knowledge or like you have music trivia and stuff. It's not just Disney trivia. I feel like that does need to be said. But when it comes to the Disney trivia, like usually I'm way better than most people at Disney stuff, but you find people who are like crazy, like they know crazy stuff. And so like I'm already starting to train like, oh, let me know all my Disney songs based on like 1 second. But I don't know. I liked the trivia options on both, but I will say I do have a little bit more fun. I think the hosts are always having a good time, and I think they're a lot more engaging, I think maybe on Disney, because they're usually held in like smaller places, whereas sometimes the locations can get pretty big when you're doing trivia on Royal Caribbean. And also, I do think they had more like arts and crafts activities on Disney, but I think they also had them on Royal. We just didn't have time to do them. But I'd say they both have a very like large range of activities for like all ages to do.
Yeah, I think both cruise lines, you could stay busy all day. And for all ages, there was lots of things to do on both ships.
Yeah. I was just impressed with Anthem of the Seas activity because it was different for us. So because we've done all these like Disney trivias and like there's other activities that are the same, but they're like the Clue detective game. Like we had this like fun. There was like a murder mystery on the ship, so we had to go around asking cast members like, was it the knife? You know, like at Sorrento's. So it was kind of fun, and like we had to guess though. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, but that was a lot of fun, and that was like kind of unique. I feel like something we haven't done, but yeah, I think the activities are really great. I thought they did get busier on Anthem of the Seas though. I feel like you just had to be there so early to get some of those things done.
I don't know. See, I disagree. I think it's the opposite. Like I think about times at the Schooner Bar doing trivia and it would be us and like 4 tables. Like I think it really depended on the activity. And I think Disney Cruise Line is the same way. Honestly, though, I think Royal, it seemed like there were more things going on at a point in time than on Disney Cruise Line.
That's true. I definitely had to debate over which activities I wanted to do. I wish I did some more of like the arts activities. Like I could have made a flower out of like silk. Why didn't I do that? Why did I do another quiz at 5?
I know we were so hooked on the quizzes is the thing, and I see it in the chat.
I want to see my boy Patty.
Right, but you start to get to know the entertainment staff, and like you want to see them doing their trivia things. Like you have
because they start knowing you by name and stuff. Like, well, I have to go see them. You know?
Right. I see a lot in the chat too about all of about the trivia on Disney and how hard it is and those winners medals. Like I know I wish they would have those on Royal. We got some interesting prizes. I think you saw in the like the really varied keychains, plastic cups, zipper pulls. I don't know. But yeah, those plastic winners medallions on Disney Cruise Line, I think we've won them once or twice, but it is hard to win trivia on Disney. And I feel like I felt really smart on Royal Caribbean. I felt really smart. Like I felt like a winner because I felt like we could have had a really good chance of winning.
This guy wore a crown.
I did. I did win Name That Tune live. I'm just saying. Right. So that was actually a lot of fun too. That was a little different.
The stage shows.
I was gonna say though, I felt like Anthem of the Seas had more like live musicians too.
Yes, music wise, I'd say.
Like at the pub, they always had like a guy playing the guitar. I mean, they had a lot of musicians because of the We Will Rock You show that they had on the ship for sure. But I just felt like there was more options to see like a live musician. Like in the Schooner Bar, they would have they had a grand piano like in that bar, so you always had someone playing the piano, which is really nice. So
I mean, and you do get some of that on Disney Cruise Line,
Latin music and boleros.
Yeah, but there was like always something going
on, some kind of
from
music,
an entertainment
which
standpoint.
I love. I mean, we're big music fans here, so
yeah. I mean, and then in terms of stage shows, obviously it's going to be completely different because Disney Cruise Line has more family themed shows. Not that the shows on Royal aren't appropriate for a family, but it's not like, you know, Disney characters up on stage with Disney music. We had like a West End musical with We Will Rock You. And then there was also interesting shows that would happen every night with Spectras and then but also you had like the magicians and so I don't know.
I mean, you'll have magicians sometimes on like a 7-night Disney cruise.
Yeah. I think like main theater entertainment was fairly similar in terms of like there was always something every night.
Yeah, I do love those Disney shows though.
When it came to like I don't know what I was gonna say, like game show type shows, a lot of those were similar between like Disney and Royal Caribbean. Like they call it Match Your Mate on Disney. They have like their equivalent on Royal,
Love and Marriage.
And then I feel like they also have just a lot of like. I know you'd find these kinds of shows in like the D Lounge on like your Dream and Fantasy or like in Luna on
The Wish.
On The Wish. And so I feel like they also had a lot of equivalents on Anthem of the Seas, like in the music
silent
hall.
DJ shows, things like that.
And very similar. I see a comment about on Celebrity people were secretly Googling answers during trivia. Like, what is the point of that? I don't understand. That's the one thing that should be a joy of being on a cruise ship.
But I want to just say hello to that person that just commented. They just discovered our channel.
I know, that's
so
awesome.
that's awesome.
That
so thanks for joining us. So you got a lot of videos. We're new to this, but this whole Royal Caribbean Anthem of the Seas, we just sailed 14 nights this summer. It feels like
it.
But go check those out. Like those are a lot of fun. But thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah. So I mean, activities almost feel pretty on par.
I think I could pick a winner.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think they're pretty equal.
Yeah. I think you can't go wrong with activities on either cruise line.
Yeah, I think they're both.
So you had 2 more topics we're quickly going to run through. I appreciate everyone hanging out with us on Thursday night.
This is helpful or fun.
We're just hanging out.
Hang out. The other was excursions, and I don't know that we probably won't talk about this for a ton of time. Watch the videos. You saw all of our excursions that we did. We did quite a few during our European trip on the Anthem. So I think we can probably speak to that experience a little bit more. Disney Cruise Line, we haven't done as many excursions, have we?
Not really, but the process is very similar. I will say Disney Cruise Line, though, and we booked our Royal Caribbean one kind of late, so I don't know if there's a time period where you have to like log in to book excursions, but Disney Cruise Line kind of bases it on your tier level. So, platinum can book at X amount of days and gold is a couple days after and so on.
Right.
So if you're like a first time cruiser on Disney, like a lot of those excursions you want might be gone. But I'll just say for us, this is our first time booking Royal. And granted, we booked it like 3 to 4 months before our cruise. We just went in there and there was so much availability.
Yeah, there were tons of excursions available. And again, I don't know if it has anything to do with the itinerary and like what's available. It probably does. Like your destination and where you're going probably factors in. But there were times I know when we've done Bahamas cruises on Disney Cruise Line, even as a gold member, I've gone to try to book an excursion and had what I wanted sold out and doing it even in advance. Whereas we were able to get pretty much everything we wanted to do on our Royal Caribbean trip. There was one thing, the Flam Railway, I think was sold out when we first went in. And then one day it showed up and was available again.
Should have been a sign not to do it.
Yeah. Hey, it was
I enjoyed it.
But that's another trip, a tip though. That Flam Railway was something we booked direct through Royal, but you could have saved 70% off if you just booked it directly at the railway station there or online ahead of time. But there's risk to that too.
Well, and we did know that, but they were sold out of public tickets for that time slot that we were looking for. So that was our only option to do it. I will say, I think both cruise lines, you are going to pay more, like Scott said, if you book through the cruise line directly than if you were to book any of those tours on your own. But you do get the added peace of mind of knowing that you're going to make it back onto the ship. And so for us, knowing that we were going to be in ports where we were going to have an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour drive to a destination, we just didn't want to risk it with booking things on our own. So I think it was definitely worth that extra cost for the peace of mind.
Absolutely was.
But I think it's hard for us to say. I think Royal had really good excursion options. There was a lot of availability. The prices kind of fluctuate. So again, watch out for sales. They do a lot more sales, I feel like, than Disney Cruise Line.
Yeah, Disney's, I don't think they ever really drop in price where like sometimes you would just it was like constantly logging in every day basically for the Royal cruise just to see, oh, it's 20% off today. Let's rebook. And it was easy to rebook.
Yeah.
But if I would just say with Disney's though, like it's just the availability goes away the closer. I mean, obviously the closer you get, things are going to book up, but it just kind of depends on your tier level for sure on that. So
yeah, and both cruise lines do have excursions desks on the ship that you can go and you can get help with your excursions or book things if they're available. So I think they're fairly comparable. The process is very similar. Price is fairly similar. I would say from our one experience, Royal was a little easier to book, maybe availability wise than Disney, but I don't know that we can really say one way or another.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right. And then the last was just the crew and like staff on the ship. I think I saw a question on our post from somebody who was curious to know how the crew stacked up between the two cruise lines.
Got any thoughts, Em?
I don't know. I feel like the crew is pretty comparable. I mean, I feel like maybe you see more crew on a Disney cruise. Maybe I feel like it seems like there's more people because like even like behind the scenes, it feels like more is going on, especially with like the stateroom and stuff. But I don't know, like when it came to like restaurants, the restaurant crew was pretty on par, and like the entertainment staff was pretty on par, I'd say. Every now and then you'll have a odd duck who's like a little interesting, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I didn't really notice any differences.
Yeah, I would say I think we had really good crew interactions on both Disney Cruise Line and on Royal. I feel like the staff was great, very friendly, very helpful. Entertainment staff was very fun and energetic, and they would get to know you just like on both cruise lines. If you show up and if you talk to people, they talk to you. I don't know.
I did think of something to say. I do feel like on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and I don't know if it was just like the location or like the type of cruise you were sailing, but I do feel like the cruise director, I feel like I saw her a lot more than I usually see the cruise director on a Disney cruise.
She was busy.
I feel like I saw her all the time. Like I saw her at one show. I'd move, like it was one of the days that we like kind of like we're like doing everything at night. So we watched like one of the like Who Wants to Feel Like a Millionaire, and then we went over to watch the show in the main theater, and then boom, she was there too. Like she was
in a
like,
different outfit.
Yeah, she was hopping around too. So yeah. Also, the outfits is one thing. On Royal Caribbean, I feel like you definitely see like for like the evenings, like the crew, like the entertainment staff, they'll all change their clothes. Like they won't wear like the typical uniform, I don't think. After
they dress up for formal night.
They do the formal nights. I think Disney does that too. We just don't do enough Disney. We don't do the 7-nighters on Disney as much.
Cruises.
Also, one thing I do notice though is sometimes I feel like you'll see Royal Caribbean staff on their phones, which is
really I never noticed that.
I noticed it sometimes. They would just be like on their phones, and I thought that was a little weird, but I don't know. That was kind of like the only thing I noticed.
So I got a couple things on crew.
Here it comes.
You made a nice comment about our stateroom host.
Yeah.
He was great. But that first day we got there, I could not find a single person to talk to. Remember, we need the hangers.
Yeah,
remember?
We did.
And you were like, Scott, go. We don't, because we didn't know who our stateroom host was at the time. You're like, go find someone, because like we know on Disney, like
usually just open your door and they're there.
And there's one every 3 rooms. There's a crew member there. I walked up and down this hall. I went starboard. I went ports. I was all over the place. I could not find anyone to talk to. And I kind of got us like that right off the bat. I was like, well, this sucks. So then I had to like call over someone. I mean, we eventually got the hangers, and our guy was great. I mean, he was great. But it was like, I couldn't find anyone. It was kind of bizarre.
Well, okay. A couple things on that though. So one, you were able to call, we called and they came right away with them. So that was easy to deal with. But also we aborted that ship at like 10:30 in the morning. We got on that ship super early that day, and our stateroom was ready. Like,
it was
almost immediately.
It was. We were looking at the art. Remember?
The reason you see all the crew members on Disney Cruise Line is because they don't let you go to your room until 1 or 2 after they've opened them all. They keep them all closed off, and so then the crew's just done and waiting for you. Like these crew members were still turning rooms over. We got our room right away. So, hey, thank you for subscribing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. So, and I'm not trying to sound negative. I'm just talking about the crew. I thought the service was good. I believe Stacy might have been the one that asked this. So I'm going to kind of address something particular I think Stacy might be interested in is, I don't think the bartenders were like very chatty on Royal Caribbean, because I think they're all about the drinks package. You know, they weren't all about talking to you, getting to know you. Because I tried to, at 270 in particular was one that I really struggled with the servers over there. But at the Schooner Lounge, it was a little different. I went to the bar a couple times there, but they just like meant business, and which was kind of, you see that's the opposite on Disney Cruise Line. Like they want to talk to you, and we're chatty people, right? You know, and like what? So, and I mean, that could be a negative for some people. I mean, I just didn't tip as much or like talk to them as much, you know, because they were very short and didn't really want to talk to you. So like hanging out at the bar stools and talking to a crew member were not as great on Royal, because I think it really was tied to the drinks package.
They were also all full.
Yeah,
there were people who were just like, I'm on the drinks package.
Basically, it was tough. It was tough to find a stool sometimes.
The bars at night were much more crowded on Royal than on Disney Cruise Line.
Yep. And I just think about the pub too, Brassenbach. Like I'd go up there, like all the stools are full. I mean, that place was always jam-packed.
Yeah, they were busy.
The Euros were happening too. So like the football was on the TV all the time in there. But like you couldn't even like say more than 5 words sometimes to them, because they were just moving on to the next one. So that
they had it down to a science.
So that might have not necessarily be on them. It's just like the setup of how the ship with the drinks package. But the entertainment crew was great though.
They were great.
They all knew us.
Patty,
cash bingo Claire,
cash
whatever.
Prize Claire.
Yeah. So I think overall the crew was great. On both cruise lines. Disney, they might go a little bit slightly above and beyond to really try to make connections with you. But I also think it just depends, because we've also had servers on Disney Cruise Line that have been just okay
kind of flat,
as well.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on who you get, how they're feeling that day, what vibe you're bringing. I don't know. I think you're going to have a good experience either way.
For sure.
All right. I think those were all of our topics. I don't know in the chat if there is anything else that we didn't touch on that anyone was really.
And I know there's been a lot of talk about Celebrity and Virgin. I know there's plenty of other Princess. There's so many other cruise lines, and we definitely want to experience those. We're just big Disney fans, so we like kind of started with the Disney, and we wanted to try Royal. And we definitely enjoyed both, but there's definitely, as we talked about, there's pros and cons for both. I think there would be pros and cons for any ship, really. But
so I don't know, like when we said which cruise line does it better, I don't know that we were planning to ever say overall which one does it better, because I don't know if you really can. Like if you hear as we went through each category, each cruise line they were neck and neck, and some did some things better and others did others better.
Also, just like depends on like the day, what mood you're feeling. Like right now, I'd rather go on Disney because I'm like excited
about to go
for
on
our current one. But like, I don't know.
One thing we didn't talk about though, sorry to interrupt, was because we didn't really have this with Emmalee this time. There might be people with children in the chat. Like Disney Kids Clubs are really great because Emmalee used to do the kids clubs, like what was it, Oceaneer Club?
Oceaneer Club. I just liked the hand washing.
The hand washing was great. And they offered that on Anthem of the Seas too, and they had like the different tiers, right? There's like the teenage hangout one and all those things. You just didn't partake in those, but
no, I don't know. I struggle sometimes. I don't really like people my age very much.
No.
Like I don't know. I like people my age who I know, but I don't really. The type of people who would go to a cruise teen club are not my type of people.
Emmalee likes to hang out with us because we're so much fun.
Right. Yeah.
Or I like to just, go up top deck, take my book.
Yeah. So I just wanted to point that out that Royal did have like a teen club and kids club areas too. And they also had, because the Wish had this cool like hero zone. Remember that? Like the cool play area, which the Disney Dream and Fantasy. I don't think the Magic Wonder have either, but
they have like the mini golf.
They
have like outdoor areas, which
on Disney.
Yeah. So I think again though, all of that I think is going to really depend on what ship you're going on and any cruise line. So the availability of different activities and venues is really going to vary from ship to ship on either Disney or Royal or any of those other cruise lines that we've talked about in the chat.
Yeah.
So I think really like it's hard because there's more ships on Royal than there are on Disney. And if you compare if I compared the Wonder even to like the Wish, those are not going to be the same experience.
Absolutely.
If I compare an older Royal Caribbean ship to the Icon of the Seas, like those aren't going to be the same experience. And so I think it's really just important to like research, know what you want to do and what you're interested in, and find a ship that's going to match up with you and what your vibe is.
For sure.
Yeah, it kind of works out for this because I'd say like Anthem kind of feels like a mix between like the Dream and the Wish. So I feel like if we're going to find ships to compare between the two cruise lines, I feel like that would probably be the best ones to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
because I feel like you can't take Icon of the Seas and be like, let's compare it to the Dream.
Exactly.
But yeah, so thanks for hanging out with us. At the end of the day, if you're sailing on a ship, man, that's just
being out on a cruise.
Just be in the moment.
Place to be.
I did want to say one more thing because I always have something to say.
One more thing.
The internet package, though, I thought on Anthem of the Seas was really good.
Oh yeah, they definitely do the internet better on Royal than on Disney.
Everyone cheats on the trivia.
I know we did not cheat on trivia.
We did not cheat.
We were just texting our friends is all we did. And checking in with our families. But so that I thought that was really good. Disney's is a little like choppier, but Disney you can do like iMessage now, which is nice though, like without even a package, which is really good. But just wanted to comment that we thought the internet package was really well done.
Technically, you did because personally, I don't believe in getting the internet on a cruise. I think that is like the one time you can be totally disconnected and not looking at your phone. So I love cruising for that aspect, except you had your phone because you got that internet package.
I like to share.
I know.
I'm a sharer.
So either way, I think both cruise lines are great. I would sail either again tomorrow. So
absolutely. Well, I really appreciate it. We got a lot of people in here, so thanks for hanging out with us. We got a new subscriber too, so that was great. So
awesome. Check out those videos and let us know.
Yeah, we just wrapped up the European video. So what do you guys want to see next? Like, put in the chat. Do you want to see a Walt Disney World series? We were there over Thanksgiving. We have
Niagara Falls.
We have a Niagara Fall video content. We have Franklin, Tennessee content. Nashville. We're gonna have another Disney cruise series. Like, are you kind of cruised out? Would you rather see something different? So hit us up on our channel in the comments right here. We'd love to know what you guys think. We have an idea what the next video series will be, but definitely want to hear what the people want.
Right? Yeah, and we're going to Hawaii for spring break.
Yeah,
so
that's another thing I actually want to do. I want to recap our Hawaii trip we did last time. We've been getting a lot of questions about Hawaii. So
yeah. So anyway, lots more travels to come, but we're excited to wrap up the European vacation and thanks for hanging out with us tonight on this Thursday.
Thanks for hanging out, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. Have a great weekend too. So we'll see you all later.
See ya.
I'm going.